It's the WP Minute. Support independent WordPress news like this. Join the Slack membership or purchase a classified listing in the weekly newsletter at thewpminute.com/support. It's week 2 of this sort of laid-back session that we're doing every Wednesday. Slightly different than the old news. If you have any feedback, let me know what you think at matt@thewpminute.com. As always, everything I mention here will be linked up in the newsletter and the blog post. Check out the WPMinute.com for the links. A couple of links I want to tackle first is, generally I saw them tweeted by Matt Mullenweg. One is a blog post on his website, ma.tt, Apple Journals Day 1. And sort of this discussion around Apple's new competition to Automattic's Day 1 journaling app. And of course, I'm going to provide the link in the newsletter and you can read the summary there. What's interesting, though, and if I zoom out to the other article linked up, again, I saw it tweeted out by Matt about the Soho Automattic office. God, Matt does a lot. Matt Mullenweg has a lot of things on his plate. I'm still flabbergasted by how he can manage all of this stuff. And especially when you look at Automattic's journaling app versus Apple's journaling app, that alone is a business unto itself. I think there are companies dedicated to building journal apps, to do apps, any app. And then when you see sort of Apple bring it into the crosshairs, to me, it's like an all hands on deck moment. Like, how are we going to compete with this juggernaut that is Apple? Is there something bigger than a juggernaut? Because that's what Apple is when it's coming into your territory of a similar product. And it's just amazing at how Automattic has this suite of products that we don't often talk about. Day 1 journaling app, of course. Simple Note, which is an app that I use every single day. And then, of course, WordPress and everything else. Tumblr now is in the mix. And Matt has taken a step back from being a lead contributor to lead core committer to the upcoming version of WordPress. So I'm curious about what's happening sort of behind the scenes. Is he starting to pour his concentration into other areas of Automattic? It's just interesting times to see how vast a space Automattic touches these days. The last article I want to just touch upon before I let you on your day is this article that was uncovered from a couple of months ago. A company called One Equity Partners acquires cloud services provider Liquid Web and forms a new holding company, Cloud One Digital. OEP plans an aggressive expansion strategy for Cloud One Digital, aiming to combine and integrate complementary businesses in the multi-cloud infrastructure segment. Lots of tech private equity speak to one big organization purchases another big organization, and we're going to do some things to make our shareholders profit and feel a lot better. Again, your fingers crossed, everything goes well for the brands, for the team members that we know that work there. So, of course, a lot of back and forth on Twitter. Some folks were saying, hey, this isn't big news. This was a couple months ago. Nothing really changed. Nothing will change. So we hope. Other side saying, well, this is what happens when private equity comes in. There's this feeling of degradation in the whole thing, right? The whole stack, the product, the experience, the employees, the customers, and you generally see cuts and reorgs when this stuff happens. Again, we'll just stay in the middle of the road here and try to just see what happens with solid WP, with Liquid Web, and how this acquisition or investment plays out in the months and years to come. We hope everything goes, of course, well with that. It's always interesting in the WordPress space to see things change, right? And that's a pretty broad statement, but there's a lot of criticism to WordPress brands that acquire and change things that are only in the WordPress realm. Awesome Motive, right, is a perfect example of the criticism they get, rightfully so on some things, maybe wrongfully so on others, but these are brands that are just within the WordPress space. Nobody likes change, and there's this level of camaraderie that we've we all kind of share because we've all been here for now 20 years. So when we see these things change, even with our own bloodline, I guess is a lack of a better term, people get upset and there's irritation and there's, how could you do this? How could that change? Private equity, even more so, because what we're talking about here is investors that don't even know open source, WordPress, what the community is, who we are. So there's always this watchful eye on these changes. There's always scrutiny at all levels, and we just hope that there's a positive outcome to all of this stuff. So let's keep an eye on what happens with One Equity. If you have any insights, anything that you know from behind the scenes, drop us a line. Go to the WPminute.com/contact. And that's it for today's episode because, hey, my neighbors, landscapers just started kicking off all the lawn mowers and leaf blowers. Thanks to all the members who shared these links today: Eric Karkovac, Cameron Jones, Andrew Palmer, Courtney Robertson, and Amber Hines. Thanks to you, dear listener, for tuning into your favorite 5 minutes of WordPress every Wednesday. You can support independent content like this by purchasing us a digital coffee at thewpminute.com/support or join the Ling Squad membership for $79 a year to support the show and become a producer of the WP Minute at thewpminute.com/support. That's it. If you enjoyed it, please share it wherever you do social media and jump on the mailing list at thewpminute.com.